While Wukong is still strong, very strong in fact, Season 15 has almost broken him. Again, we're building on every video we go here. Viego to Wukong, we're going to do a lot more for the next coming of weeks. We want to look at not only this champion here, but also Gwen. Very, very strong win rates. Why would someone like Wukong and Viego be really good in an objective skirmish-based snowballing meta, and someone who's typically meant to be a scaler also be strong? This is the question, and we're going to answer all of those and more. Why Wukong is broken though? Well, first and foremost, when you buff this spell here and give it a cooldown benefit, you know, this is a 3.25 second camouflage. I want to say camouflage, invisible. It's been years since they changed invisible and camouflage to mean different things, but in this particular case, invisible. The thing is, right, with invis, you don't get detected until you're on someone's ass, which means the engage tools here are absolutely outrageous, but it's not just that about Wukong. It's that his itemization is good. It's that he can afford himself the ability of a 3-camp gank. He can get that first blood. He can bonk these very, very quickly, these turrets. He can solo objectives. His team fighting is outrageous. It's almost like if you wanted to take a little bit of a Mumu, who is strong, and a little bit of Viego, who is strong, and fuse them, you kind of get Wukong. You know, not literally, but hopefully you see the connection. Gwen, obviously, for clearing, enjoys, you know, scaling, but definitely 2-item spike. If you can get that 2-item spike sooner through the mechanisms of the new snowballing things, you become a late game behemoth. Very strong champion. We'll see how she does in this game. We, of course, here have the Kai'Sa as well as the Alistar on the bot lane, and now Wukong is finishing off his Krugs. Now, Kiana versus Aurora in the mid lane, and Vladimir, fresher versus Cinematic, killing the Ambessa. Well then, you know, your Vladimir does not that. Enemy Vladimir does that. Usually the way of things. So, finishing out clear here about the same time as Gwen. Gwen looks at the sea. This is great from the Gwen here. You see the map. You see the Lack of Prior. You see the shove in here. You don't hang around to fight a Wukong over the Scuttle Crab. You absolutely must head to Virkayu.gg. Not only do I have a free jungle improvement resource, I also have a dedicated program with jungle video courses, jungle coaching, coaching classes, a jungle VOD library. Courses will be prepped for Season 15 as soon as the changes are stable. All the fundamentals you need for right now are available in a ridiculous amount of hours for content tailored for your MMR so you can climb to reach your peak rank. As we saw from all of those people hitting their peak dreams in Season 14 as fast as possible. So to hit your peak rank in Season 15 and jungle diff every game you play, head to the link in the description below or to Virkayu.gg. You say, alright, I'm gonna swap to the top side and snag this baby up. Also because we saw the Wukong over here, so we know exactly where he is. Wukong also knows exactly where Gwen is. The thing about Wukong, and we talked about this in a recent video on this channel with Wukong, the game plan of the jungle for him is really whatever is necessary for you to win. Right? You don't have to full clear, you don't have to 3-quadrant, you don't have to gank, you can scale for 6. Whatever you need to do in order to actually come online, you can do it. It's such a lot of versatility. Here's the Ambassador back in the lane, there's a Gwen, gives the thumbs up, and now Wukong crosses over to try and get this, isn't able to, sees the Gwen come back here. Now because she started on this top side, the Gwen should be thinking about this, and this is the downside to her strategy. When you want to do this like the Gwen's done, it's not good when you start Raptors, because obviously here the cutback is, I mean, it's logical, right? You got to do the cutback. Everybody knows that. But you really want to fall back into this Raptor pit. And the Wukong kept this pressure up nicely. A lot of junglers in the Wukong's position would do this ward and base, right? The Wukong says, no, I'm Wukong. I'm going to keep that pressure up, forcing her to go around this way, not to her Raptors. And then I can threaten to take this. Now, obviously, we have Aurora going top lane, Ambessa coming to the mid lane, and the Kiana was in position. So we have to give up that invade, but that's fine. It's all about that threat of pressure. And because Wukong has an armor shredding Q, much like, you know, say Jarvan does right here, it also has a refund on the cooldown with the attacks of his, you know, himself or his clone. So you're looking at something that's 7.5 seconds that abuse the hell out of Sheen, which is also, you know, if you want to rush Sheen first, you can for more PvP. But in this particular game state, we're looking at it and we're saying, okay, not a lot of fisting so far, not a lot of obvious ganking opportunities. Tougher lanes to gank without CC. Wukong's gonna show up here. Oh, sorry, Wukong. Alistar, another animal, is gonna show up mid lane. We're farming. So we don't really need to rush the Sheen there. We can go straight up for or more the DPS focus aspects of Trinity Force. Here we go. Nice gank from the Alistar. Gets that stun. Gonna keep auto-attacking. Gets the ignite off. The Ambessa is looking for something. Isn't able to get it. She is suffering and wheezing right now. We know that the Gwen did this. This base comes down to the bottom side. This is all good. I like this because we looked at the aggressive Wukong playstyle recently. You can go watch that. It's still applicable to now. But we're in this new meta, right? We want Feats of Strength. Here's the rotation from the Rel. The Wukong could have looked and paid attention to this row and thought, hey, maybe I can do something. But instead, he decides to finish his camp assesses the situation, sees if there's an overcommit. There is an overcommit here. We do have flash available, plus our E dash here. So let's see if he tries to do that. Of course he will. There's a W, there's a flash, there's a bonk. Boom, done. Like, look at that gap close. From here to here, Rel, Ezreal, they could do nothing to touch him. Now, on the opposite side of the coin, you see the Gwen show up, all right? She's going to cut up for the grubs. Here's the battle, all right? First blood versus turret versus the 3 objectives. The balance is quite delicate. Now, I've played a bunch of games yesterday. I've coached a lot of games already. Why is this snacking of the... We'll get into it in a second. Let's just watch this play out. The Gwen should not be overcommitting for this, and this is what I'm talking about with everybody. Here, the Vladimir shows up with level 6. Rover's got her ult going through. She's super duper low. She's going to try to reposition. And Bessa shows up. It's a bit of a fiesta. Wukong's just trying to finish off the grubs, or the Aurora's running away. It's just a bit of a fiesta moment here. I don't like this. Well, Kiana hit her ultimate. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, because we have everything up. A lot of damage. Whoa! Hold on, cow. I don't want to die. Please have some mercy here. Oh, no. Okay, so just to look at this from a Season 15 point of view, right? They're going for this fight, this whole engagement here. We want to get these grubs. Remember, once Wukong's taking 1 grub, it's great to get the next 2, but no one's getting an objective for the Feats of Strength unless you get all 3, right? In this pit, like, it's not going to count. So, from the Gwen's perspective, you see this, just take the RNG scuttle. Just go to the dragon, right? Counter jungle the Krugs. Gank the bottom lane, get your ADC fed, and focus on plays. You don't need to worry about anything else other than playing good jungling. So here, this whole fisting and fighting moment for these grubs, you know, even if we win out, even if we get them all, there's an element of coin flip, isn't there? And that's what we want to try and avoid when it comes to the snowball mechanics. Now, Gwen goes here, and again, she shows up, snacks him away, no objective. Wukong's going to get level 6 now, delayed level 6. We're seeing a lot of that too, because people are focusing on the objectives, on the first blood, on trying to get the turrets. But turrets are not snacked first, as we have a roam, not a roam, but a 2v2 fisting in the bottom lane. You know, turrets are taken by coin flip in a way. I mean, obviously, if you're the jungle farming and your team suck, and yeah, sure, that's a coin flip from our perspective. But in a balanced game, the balanced environment, you control to a large degree if you can get that first turret. Where do you gank? Which lane has prior? Do you get the grubs? Are you actually diving? I know it's a different meta now for diving because the minions, you know, they get thinned out a lot quicker. And obviously, turrets, while they're squishier, do more damage to you. So we're seeing a little bit of a more risky natured sort of turret dive meta. Look at what we have from the Wukong here so far. 2-0-1, haven't even used our ultimate yet. Rather measured approach. We're matching the Gwen in terms of sequencing. And from Gwen's perspective, if you are against a Wukong, this champion is very strong in PvP. If he decides to go for grubs, give him the grubs. Get your dragon, get your scuttle, snowball your ADC, especially in Ezreal here, who's doing well. Run with that, right? Because this gives you 1 objective to 1 objective. But you have now the ADC lane that can very easily take this first turret, and that's how you get your Feats of Strength. You set yourself up for the second dragon, the second grub pit, much better. Wukong now shows up into the river here. Gwen's going to be down on the matching side. Wukong's like, well, let me just space out with my W, E to the Scuttle Crab to create some spacing. And now we have a little bit of a sneaky cow moment, and we're going to go for the ultimate here, no doubt. There's 1 R. We have the second R as well as we need. Here's the Kiana showcasing her abilities. Well, that doesn't really matter because I think Wukong's going to die. Yeah, Gwen dies though too, so that's okay. Now, does this set up a team very nicely? Ambessa with the R, super good. Backline is the Kai'Sa. Whoa, over the wall we go. Well played by everybody, honestly. But you see my point with the Gwen? If she just gave up the grubs, took the dragon, guaranteed objective, snowballed the bottom lane, this play doesn't happen. Even if they had the pick potential there on the Wukong, doesn't matter. Now, why am I speaking so much about the Gwen? Because as a Wukong, you still have to match what the enemy jungler wants to do, and you still have to be ready to actually, you know, take them out of their game plan. Because that's what Wukong does. Look, hit this. Wukong likes AD. Wukong likes snowballing. Wukong likes taking over games. Get yourself as fed as possible, especially with Trinity Force. This is him right now. He has spiked in a way that very few junglers can spike. Good sneaking into the bush here. There's a Vlad, gets ulted by the Aurora. Thank goodness for most of mankind that is not the original Aurora ultimate, but there we go. Wukong can dash back in here if he so chooses, but we see the Ezreal ultimate. There's Zerel rotating. He's going to save the spells. He does a flash up still, so we can kind of create some disengage here. R up in 51 seconds. We're just waiting to see if there's an overcommit. Little dash from the Aurora. Okay. Cow is rotating up. Gwen goes way too deep there. This is where we're looking at the Wukong. Super strong. Mobility, in and out of team fights, resets. This is what we like. 2-1-3, 4,000 gold by 10 minutes. Not the best. Kiana gets caught out. take a kill. Now, this is all well and good. This is all well and good. Wukong's done a fine job. Gwen has overcommitted, and Wukong is punishing her. It's not always, and this is why, you know, he's going to have 85% KP in this game. A lot of KP, right? But this is why Wukong can sometimes be a bit unassuming. You think, oh, the Wukong's under control. Like, he's not really taking over the game. Dude's got 6 out of 8 KP. We got 2 grubs here. The dragon isn't under control by the Gwen whatsoever. Second pit is available. We'll snack this objective up here. We already have 900 gold lead over the enemy Gwen. The snowballing is coming to fruition, and this is what concerns me a lot when I'm against a Wukong. I'm like, I've contained him. And then I look, and dude's 3-1-3. I'm like, oh, I didn't contain shit. Happens with this champion. He's very unassuming sometimes, but he can also rampage and stampede the entire game. So we're gonna snack this pit up. Gwen now finally goes to the scuttle on the bottom side, but this is how you beat the Wukong, and also again Wukong doesn't care. There's the knock-up. The Gwen's going. It's just a little bit missed opportunities, but that's the power of Wukong. Do not forget, as a jungler, you also have in your mind. Not in your mind, but in your strategy, the ability to get into the mind of the enemy. Wukong's threat is quite strong. We're going to shop here. We do have R available if we need to use it. Obviously, we prefer not to. We do have W up again, so we can create some space there. Over the wall we go. One of the biggest and best changes to junglers in recent memory. Truly and honestly, giving this guy map mobility when he was useless for so long. Incredible change. You know, I would say give them their flowers, but that seems to be a bit on the nose. Right, let's have a look to see what we got. Do we have, honestly, 0 petals? Literally 0 petals? They have 6? Like 6 adaptive force. I mean, like 0 petals? Seems a little not so good. I'm kind of curious how this game's going to play out. Because this is not... Right? Like, this is not... the Omega power we're kind of expecting from the Wukong. Let's see what happens here. I mean, obviously, that's a Vladimir super strong. Use a clone there. Then there's another bonk. There's a double knockup. There's a triple knockup because of the Alistar. And that's why it's so difficult to play against this champion. Because even if he isn't fed, he's still got that mobility in and out and double knockup. Huge! Right. I'm still confused as to why this is on the map here. Like, objective control is the... You must get it. Just focus objective. Let the coin flip of the level 1s take their place. Get your feats of strength almost every game. As we saw from the Virkayu game, we're looking at a scenario where we'd like to do grubs at some point into a dragon or dragon into grubs, where you cut across. You use your power, you create map prior, you do 2 objectives back to back. If you already have an objective, boom, done, right? You can now focus on dives and pushing all the plates, getting the cash monies, getting that first turret. We saw it from the Virkayu. I tested it out myself in some games last night with a few champions. Worked beautifully. But you've got to set yourself up for it. Now, here the Wukong could have done this and looked to cut across and do this, but he chose to make a better play topside to try and shut down the Vladimir, who's, you know, kind of fed. Fine as well, especially if the enemy doesn't really seem that interested in doing any objectives. We have a trap here. Gwen is really behind. Let's have a look here. She's 110 to 97 CS though, so you see the CS gap kind of growing a little bit as well. Ryle goes all the way in onto the Kai'Sa, who ults, and then Kiana says, well, thank you so much. Then she flashes. Kiana's going to dash, dash, dash. Get the Q proc, and we have obviously the Ambessa R-ing in, gets knocked against the wall. Wukong's rotating over. This is exactly what we want to see. Here we go. Wow. Well, I mean, oh my goodness, chasing Kiana's painful, but W over walls, right? So, and we got the E. We got the E. There we go. E-bonk. Free bonks. Can defend the turret. Hold turrets, guys, by the way, please. Like, they're going, oh, the triple knock up here again. We have 14 on the ultimate. They're really trying to burn out this turret to get the first turret, but these turrets do way more damage now. They are able to get it. The Wukong's able to finish it up with a Q. So there we go. There's Ralph flashes back in here. Wukong does have everything available. Oh, that was... He's waiting for one more Q. He's waiting for one more Q. So well played by the Wukong. Huge cash monies. Unfortunately, they got the turret. They got the first blood. Therefore, they have Feats of Strength. How do you win when you don't have Feats of Strength? Because everyone says, but the boots are so powerful. Guys, as I said yesterday, if you have 10,000 gold, they have 8,000 gold, they don't get 750 for the boots. They have to spend 750. So if you have all maxed your buys, and you've maxed 10,000 gold and they've maxed 8,000 gold, you still have a 2,000 gold advantage. Yes, the passives are good. Yes, they're very efficient for the gold that you spend. I'm not going to say gold efficiency because it's a dumb metric. But the stats that you get for that are pretty valuable. They're nerfing it directly. All of them, by the way. Hotfixes are live, so that's gone. They all have been nerfed. Even the Swifties, which were, honestly, they only minus +5 movement speed from the Swifties and didn't adjust the percentage. So maybe that'll get another nerf. However, and soak boots. However, it's still the advantage you have here, right? And you still need to have 2 legendary items in order to upgrade it. So the gold advantage is not realized at 60 minutes. Herald is available. We can go snag the baby armor right now. They don't have that 750 gold invested in their boots yet. You know, you're looking for some champions, 2, 3, 4 items within that range for them being most powerful, but they haven't spent it yet. So while feats of strength are nice and they give them a little boosty +5, yeah, that's stats, it's great. But if you are truly ahead and you are truly strong and you can, there it is. That is why Wukong is a beast. Maybe I should put that at the intro. But yes, it is insane. I get it. I understand the boots and the feats of strength, but it's not going to cause you to win or lose games if you jungle and play properly. Because we have 5 grubs. We gave up a dragon. Whoop-de-doo. We invade, we kill, we create prior, we take the next objective. It's going to be Ruinous Atacan. Wow, man, it would suck if the team with the dragon never got the +25, and we did. Now we could use the +25% of grubs to shove turrets a lot harder, to get the next dragons, to get those free boosts. To pick up the flower petals, what do we got now? 7. 7 versus... Can I click? Thank you. 11. So pretty even in the plants, which is great. That's kind of what you want to see overall. The Atacan will be spawning on this side. Down here, you got the map, the walls already showing. We see here the... I don't quite know what she's doing at the top there, a little deep, but she is. Wukong in the meantime says, well, I'm 111 CS. I'm way down in the Gwen now. Way down in the Gwen, but look, 6.2k gold for the Gwen. 7.9 for the Wukong. And again, she has not spent the gold on the boots yet. That is not an advantage that will be realized for a little bit still. You still have a huge advantage. So don't let it compromise your mental. I guess that's the main thing I'm saying here, right? Don't let this compromise and ruin your mental towards the game and think it's doomed because we didn't get feats of strength. It's doomed because we didn't get first blood. The best way for me to kind of frame it for you, don't put so much focus on first blood. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Don't compromise your game plan. Don't overchase to try and secure it when you don't need to. Focus on your objective control of first turrets. If you don't get it, even then, if you jungle well, you'll still have a good lead. And as long as you control objectives like a good jungler should, you're going to be in a great position. So, out of base now, we got 2 items completed. So now we could upgrade our boots. They don't have 2 items. Not even Vlad has 2 items, actually, worth noting. Dragon is going to be the next focus for us. We're looking to teamfight here. We're going to clear and focus on an overcommittal by the enemy, which is obviously here. This is way too deep. You can see that's way too deep. Whole team is goon squatting. The cow does a favor for some particular reason. There's the blood pool, and ult's burned. Kaiser's going to go way too deep. Wukong does a mega flash into the ultimate bonk of the backline to kill the Vladimir. Another bonk there on the reset. Remember to use your W to space in and out, dash back in here. Nice knockup from the cow. Another Q bonk, because that reset keeps coming off cooldown. And by the way, the armor shred of 5 points is 30%. Shred. Armor removal. Even stronger. That scales up with the ability as well. So the cooldown on this base now is 4.8 seconds, and you get the refund. The range increases too, which is always a little crazy to think about. Wukong just gets stronger and stronger the more points in Q he has and the more gold he has. And you've seen here, just from reaching Trinity Force, what he's been able to do in a rather unassuming early game. But all of a sudden, weight 2-6. We're 14 out of 17 KP. We've activated the Herald to smash this turret in. More turret gold for us. Dash bonk. Another kill. Scuttle crabs here. Boom, boom, boom. Push this up if you want. But that's what we talked about yesterday. That's what we talked about in coaching and in the private Discord. Everything, right? We do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, and we shove. That's typically what you would have done before. But now we have the Atacan. So do you want to necessarily do that and give up the Atacan? Or do you want to ensure yourself, well, basically a free win? Now, Atacan in and of itself was not going to give you a free win. It just basically gives you the best tools to win if you are good. Does it make sense? You can't come back if you don't have it, for sure, 100%. Guaranteed. Does require a bit more, again, more mental fortitude, which is, I guess, the biggest problem with the community. But if I can try and promote that as much as possible, I will. Because, hey, anyone who watches football, NFL, 28-3, guys. Just 28-3. Every time you're down feats of strength, every time you are down in any capacity with Atacan, just say 28-3 in your mind, and you know what to do. Now, basically means a mega comeback. All right, we're going to go for the double ult knock-up there into the back line to get the second knock-up onto the Gwen, who's spacing. There's a Kaiser, great ult to hold it, to go for the Gwen. We'll get the bonk kill. That was huge. And this is what I'm saying. Like, there you got Feats of Strength, and no one gives a shit because they know that they have the advantage. And they're not going to coin flip this, right? We're going to win the fight and then do it. You want your team to group, you want to win the fight and then do it. Treat this like a Baron, yeah? It's not a bait. It's a bait if you solo it. It's a bait if you do it without clearing vision or playing it properly. It's treat it like something between a dragon and a Baron. Not a herald, even further. And then don't forget to go gardening. That's what I'm calling it. Go gardening afterwards. Snack up those plants, and all of a sudden we've got plus 27 adaptive force. Holy moly! And then this team, they've got plus 14.6. So that's obviously not always a one-to-one. Make sure you know that they have some, you have some. You know, you have 40, they have 20. You only have a 20 advantage. But Wukong and champions like this is what we want. Now the dragon we just secured, plus 25% boost. The 5 grubs, plus 25% boost. We used the Herald, so we didn't get that benefit, and I think I'm okay with that. I like to use the Herald to gain the Atacan to open up the map for it. There is the Ezreal. See, we went in, we respace here. E is up again really shortly. It should be up now. W will be up again. Obviously, we didn't overcommit there. Huge, mega, if true. Base, low HP. Fog of War makes me a little bit nervous, to be honest with you. Just a little bit. We're waiting for visual confirmation of anybody else, and while we wait, we can go do camps, right? Fall back, take, cut in, always shadow, be ready to go. Always. That's a mid-game strategy. That's what allows you to carry games. This has been a great example of what not to do to chase Feats of Strength and objectives, or what to do to get it from the Gwen's perspective, and just how to play the game normally like Wukong. Oh, there's nothing. All right, cool. There's nothing. All right. I'll make a pick. Okay, cool. We'll make a fight before we go for the out again. Okay, cool. Like, nothing that there's nothing new about this. And now you look at this guy and you're like, well, should we go? And Kaiser goes all the way to the back line and you're like, whoa, maybe I should help there. There's a double knockback. Ezreal super low. He has to disengage here. Gwen is a big problem for us. Cow actually does a knockback. Huge. Get the kill onto the Rel. So this is a prime example of there's a flash from the Kiana, but, knockback 14 years because champion hitbox is apparently very balanced. There's Vlad using the pull, which means we'll easily be able to kill him afterwards. Massive, 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 massive. As I was saying, before we were rudely interrupted by bot laners going way too deep, a lot of you will actually complete your base here and say, well, why'd you fight? Look, observe the fight, cancel if necessary, determine if you can go, and if you can't, do it. If you're fed, you should be able to win these fights. If your team are just straight up dead and there's nothing you can do, go back to base. There's no Baron until 25. There's no objective on the map here. This is the easiest call in the game. This is like an 18-minute call last year and all the previous years, right? Oh, well, there's no Baron, there's no Dragon, there's no turret, all the waves are pushed. If they want to go ham and die, and it's a dumb fight, then they go ham and die. You base, go take your camps, maybe make your pick, cool. But if you can rotate here and cancel, please do, please. That's the biggest thing. All right, Aurora pushed in a little bit. Wukong now with 11,600 gold, and here's the thing. She hasn't upgraded her boots yet, but that's my whole point, right? What does she have now, 720? So she's probably going to look to sit on that gold now, so she can upgrade her boots. I would assume that's exactly what she's going to do until she gets them. And this is the thing. She's choosing to invest in the boots now because, well, she got 2 legendary items, but mostly it's because she needs to. They're losing. She can't really buy anything of giga value here. She needs to buy the Spellstringer shoes to get as strong as possible to defend, to hold. And it doesn't matter. She spent 8.4k gold and he spent 11.7. The boots are not going to offset that deficit. So get it out of your brain that it does. They're big if you get them and you snowball correctly, of course. But if we're winning and they get it, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'll just win the game anyway. As you should have always done. And look at this. Double knock up again from the Wukong. Another bonk through. That bonk is just basically always up at this particular stage. Another bonk through all the way through the fight. Follow up with the Kai'Sa, dive with the Kai'Sa. Great dive comp. Ultimate from the Ezreal. There's that best over the wall. That was absolutely massive. Backline of the Gwen is still disgusting as she is. Look, that's the best thing she could do to try and get her team back into the game. They couldn't do it. Just gigantically balanced, based, and normal jungling from the Wukong. And the Mauve Mortius there, huge buy because Vladimir plus Gwen, Ezreal's got a little bit of AP in there as well, so goodbye. Shield is the only thing that's going to kill us. Boom. Now, Aurora's on the bottom side, so we're going to push this. Turrets are really easy to kill. You got 5 grubs. You got the Atacan. What plants are we at still? 52 now, so plus 30 adaptive force. Oh my goodness gracious, that is just outrageous. All right, late game now. Basically exactly where we would have been before. Nothing at this point has changed other than the numbers that we have available to us to actually close the game out. Come out of base, your maximum buy. We got the components for Randuin's most likely just to deal with the Kiana as well as the Ezreal. That's absolutely solid and fine. Keep yourself surviving. rinsed the shit out of that Baron, man alive. And now we can just go for the fight. Look at the Wukong holding on the edge, holding on the edge. There it is. Oh, beautiful dash into the knockup. There's the bonk. We're going to do it again. We got our team following up. Hopefully, we're going to try and kill the backline. We get the kill there. Another bonk, another bonk. There's more of a Mortius. One more! Q dash. Oh, we do get killed by the Rel Q, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. TP to the bottom lane. We'll buy the Randuins to show more completion in the post game. Whoa, that TP is weird. FF, GG, Wukong. So strong, man. So strong. Even in a balanced game like this where it didn't look like he was snowballing, he just bided his time. 14, 3, 13. Team fighting God, diving God, peel God, in and out God. This champion does everything, basically, that an Amumu and a Viego can do. Viego's is obviously better at one side so much more, and Amumu is probably a little better on the team fighting for some MMRs, but honestly, for higher MMR, Wukong's better. Like, straight up, not even a question. Even if Amumu is in a solid spot, but this meta is going to be crazy. Let's carry on learning.